You made it. You're here. You took a quick break so that you can honestly continue on your Odyssey. Let's take a breath to get us back in the motion of life. Run, walk, crawl, or even dance and read with me on this Odyssey. We all have one that we're all in. It's what you do with it that matters. Respectfully, welcome to Odessey, the podcast. Hey, you listening to Odessey the podcast. Have you been thinking about making a podcast? Because it's cool if you are. But if you are, I recommend Anchor.fm. It's free. It has all the tools you need to record and edit, literally in one place. It also allows you to distribute to any platform that you like, such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and more. But wait, it really gets better. You can make money. Let me repeat that. You can make money even with the minimum listenership. It's everything you need in one spot. Download the free Anchor app or go to Anchor.fm to get started. I promise you'll love it. Now keep listening to Odessey, the podcast. Hey, everybody. What's up? You made it. You're here. I made it. I'm here. You are listening to Odessey, the podcast. So you already know what to do. Before we get going, this has become our ritual of a sense when it comes down to entering Odessey the podcast, is where we give ourselves a round of applause, a pat on the back, a nice big hug, and just feel that energy to allow us to just smile at ourselves and be happy that we made it to a space where we are thinking differently than what we do on a regular basis, or at least trying to, because as we know, Odessey the podcast is a place for personal self-growth, self-love, and everything all around that just makes us amazing human beings. So thank you all for coming in. We are on episode 11. It still blows my mind. Episode 11, we are here, and we are going to get into an affirmation in lieu of the full moon. So I am actually recording this on March the 28th, which is the Libra full moon, and I just kind of wanted to give it a little bit of love and light because I am a Libra myself. I don't know, tonight I just felt very productive, but also felt in a space of releasing certain things. And I think what I've been trying to release lately is the aspect of not being able to focus, or the aspect of not being as productive as I want to be. And for some reason, and I guess I can, put it all on the moon, is I was very productive as soon as I finished my radio show, which tonight was a great show. I feel like I might have some of that energy left over from the radio show, which was a girls trip, an all-girls show that I did on 1380 WAOK. And I just came home and I had the intentions to okay, I'm going to cook. I'm going to make these orders. I'm going to get through some of my finances. I'm going to, start looking for a therapist. And then after I was done with that, I was like, okay, I have some time to record. And I just felt in this space to want to record. And so here I am today, just feeling really good about it and wanting to come to you guys with something that, is just a slight reminder that we need for ourselves, in case we ever feel stuck or feeling like we are having a hard time trying to come out of a particular space in our creativity or in ourselves. Before we get into the affirmation, let's go ahead and take a nice deep breath. Release whatever it is that needs to be released, whatever no longer serves you. As you sit here on this podcast, just taking the gems that need to be taken in. Let whatever resonate with you, however it is. Your Odyssey is your Odyssey. My Odyssey is my Odyssey. And I just want to let you guys know that I don't speak on anything that I don't go through, or I don't speak on anything that I haven't tried for myself where I've seen a result. And I was talking to a good friend of mine, and she literally was like, Des, when you do your podcast, it's like you and being a walking testimony. So I just want to put that out there, that anything that I speak on is because I have experienced it myself. And I am still working on myself. So I am here with you all to walk, crawl, run, dance through this odyssey, and we can do it together. So let's go ahead and get into the affirmation. And again, it is in lieu of the full moon. And just to kind of give you a little bit of information on the full moon, it is a energy that a lot of people like to work with when it comes down to the aspect of releasing feelings and thoughts of what no longer serves you, and then finding space and opportunity to manifest what it is that what you really want in your life. And we get the opportunity to do this every month, and you kind of see certain patterns of yourself, or you get to really play with energy, and it feels really good, and you can put your faith into it, and on top of other things. I am a very free spirit and open-minded person, so I do put my faith into some of those things when it comes down to energy and frequency, and along with how I feel about God and my source and universe. And it has worked for me. And however you work with whatever you work with, or whomever you work with, I ask and encourage that you play in that. So with this particular affirmation, it is: I can completely recreate myself, for nothing is permanent. I can completely recreate myself, for nothing is permanent. Now, I feel like when I hear this, it is, again, affirmations are affirmations, mantras, and all of these like sayings to really get us and ground us into a particular light. They're always easier said than done, right? So when you think about recreating yourself, just kind of think about, what does that mean to you? What does that look like? What can that look like? What can a recreation of you look like? And what parts of your life are you wanting to recreate? So this particular saying can fall into any of that. I can completely recreate myself, for nothing is permanent. So this can go for your career, this can go for love life, this can go for self-love, this can go for your finances, this can go for relationships, platonic or romantic. And understanding that you have the ability to recreate yourself, because nothing is permanent. And as I spoke on the last episode, life is really unpredictable, and you just never know what can happen. And you have to sometimes readjust, realign, reprioritize. And when it comes down to this, it's in the same aspect of, I can completely recreate myself, for nothing is permanent. I think we just have to understand that we ultimately have choices in our life to make these changes. We have the ability to change the way our days go. One thing that I've used in my time of personal self growth and learning how to communicate with myself and others is that it's really a matter of how you react to certain things that happen to your life, in your life. And that goes into a space of how you create what happens in your space or in your environment is how you react to it and what you internalize from that, and how you speak to yourself and how you affirm yourself in certain situations, and what your intentions are when you walk into situations or when you walk out of situations. And just understanding that you have the ability to really recreate yourself in that space, in that environment, or whatever that it is. I want this episode to be an opportunity for you guys to really understand that you are not stuck in any position, that you have the ability to, because you have a mind. It is a mind thing. Your mind allows you and helps you to change the way you think, the way you feel, the way you see your perspective. And the mind is just such a the mind is just such a crazy thing, y'all, because it plays such a major part. The mind could really pull us out of things. And the mind can really put us deep into a dark space, unfortunately. And so when you kind of learn that you have control over your mind, it does kind of make for a better situation, and it makes for a better environment around you and how you really want your life. And for me personally, I've come into a space of a particular like resilience. And when I say resilience, I mean it on the aspect of like an emotional resilience. And I once, was a person who went through situational depression, anxiety, based off of how people spoke to me, or based off of certain situations that happened, whether it was work, whether it was relationship, whether it was friendships. As of recently, I kind of did go through something where my emotions and things like that were very fragile. When I came out of that particular like situation, I was so proud of myself because I literally like felt I felt a way of like jumping back. Like didn't I didn't even allow myself to get in a space of feeling like, let me close the curtains and let me just be in the dark and let me just sit and let me just get into this downward spiral of sadness. I'm very proud of myself. And that is literally me being able to recreate my mind and my mental when it comes down to certain situations that happened to me. And, it was a situation it's similar to something that has happened to me in the past. And in the past, I've just been a completely hot ass mess. And in this moment, it was a similar situation. And I felt a little weird because my bounce backness. I don't know if that makes any sense, but like it was like, okay, so I'm not going to be sad. I'm actually going to do things for myself. I'm actually going to make joy in what I'm doing throughout this time. I'm still going to work out. I'm still going to be productive. I'm still going to go ride my bike. I'm still going to do the things that make me happy. And, even within that time, I had great friends who continued to affirm me, just pour into me and reminding me of those are the things that I need to do, and just giving me that confirmation, because I was already working in that space, but I was just happy to have my friends around to really continue to let me know that you have the ability to change. You have the ability to create, what your day is going to look like. You're going to make it happy, even if that situation made you sad. And so I just really want us to, understand that our minds can be controlled, and you have to be very intentional with how you approach situations. And again, it can go from work, relationships, friends, platonic, romantic, any of those things. And so, I do want to kind of have us, this is kind of going to be in a different side of the episode. I want to really point out like 3 ways where you can completely recreate yourself. And I think that really can help in situations because you have the ability to do this. You can completely recreate yourself, for nothing is permanent. You can completely recreate yourself, for nothing is permanent. We can look at a number of celebrities and the people who are in our space of social media and space of light, and seeing how they have been able to recreate themselves, because what was once them no longer served them. And so we can look at celebrities such as Lady Gaga. We can look at celebrities such as Beyonce. Beyonce has alter egos, which allowed her to just recreate herself in a number of ways. And we can all take on certain personas if we like, and you have the ability and you have the right to feel and be in those spaces. Don't ever let anybody tell you that you're not allowed to recreate or change who you are, because we all go through things where that change is sometimes necessary. And I think right now, one of the biggest people that I can think of who kind of like really recreated themselves off the top of my mind for some reason is Cardi B. Like, she really went from being this reality TV star, kind of was in that space, in that box, and she literally basically told herself, I'm not doing this anymore and I'm going for something bigger and better. And now look at her. She is like one of the top female rappers in the game, songs on billboards, constantly getting talked about whether it's good or bad, and people just love her. And another person that I can think of is Meghan Markle, from the royal family, where she not only recreated herself, okay, she also recreated her husband and their entire family, and put her foot down as far as saying like, this is not permanent and we don't have to go through this, and we have the ability to change for the safety of ourselves, our family, and everything else around that. So just really think about what that process could look like for you, as far as you can completely recreate yourself for nothing is permanent. Let's go ahead and get into the three major ways to recreate yourself. So first, I think this one is very important because it begins to kind of create that domino effect of getting to that circle of the recreation. Is what needs to happen is like reassessing your life. Like, ask yourself questions. Am I truly happy in life? Or ask yourself questions. If I could be doing anything else in the world, would it be this? Or if I was doing anything else if I could do anything else in the world, what would it be? And just kind of really pay attention to those answers that you give yourself, and feel free to write these down. Am I truly happy in my life is a really big question that I honestly still ask myself to this day. We sometimes say like, yes, I'm happy. I have this, I have that, I have a roof over my head. And, I'm so grateful for those things. And you kind of really have to learn like, what exactly is it that makes you happy? Are you a materialistic type of person? Are you like a person who just needs to feel warm and fuzzy inside and that makes you happy? Are you a person who, like, if you are able to do your passion and walk in that every day, is that going to make you happy? Which I hope so, because that's more so what I lean towards. I more so lean towards my passion, because if I have a job I'm passionate about, it no longer feels like a job. And I honestly feel like at some point that is what will make me completely happy. So ask yourself these questions. And then as you ask yourself these questions, how can I bring joy into my life? How can I make myself smile when I wake up in the morning? What are the little things that I can do to love on myself and feel good about myself? Is it making breakfast and sitting down and being quiet and being silent and being still? Is it that yoga class? Is it meditation? Is it, watering my plant, or, things like that? Is it going on bike rides? Like, find how you can bring joy into your life. And that could really help you in the process of recreating yourself. Number two is really visualizing. So visualize what it is that you see for yourself, visualize what it is that you want, and really imagine that, because, you know, there are things out here that say that, and I truly do believe it is, if you can visualize it and you can dream it, then it has already happened. It's just a matter of you getting to that point, into that space. So if you want to see yourself in a house, in a car, with this partner, and with your type of perfect guy, or your type of perfect woman, visualize it. Visualize what you're bank account looks like. Visualize what you feel like when you wake up in the morning, what you want to see when you wake up in the morning. Visualize what it feels like to be on your way to work or before you even sit down at your desk, and the happiness that it should bring. And upon visualizing it, you really feel and play with that energy of that amazing feeling of passion and happiness and joy. And once you feel that feeling just off of visualization, you're going to want to chase after that, or you're going to want that in your life. So what are you going to do? You're going to work for it. So for your third major thing to recreate yourself, do the work. Do the work. So after you reassess and you ask yourself these questions and you come to these certain answers, you have to, do the work. How do you come out of that? If you give yourself an answer, if you're truly happy and you come out and you say no, then what are you going to do to try to turn that into a yes? You then visualize and you kind of feel and see how that makes you feel, see where that takes you, and you put yourself in a place that you feel like you're deserving to be in. And if you absolutely feel like that because you visualized it, then do the work so that you can get there. So you can completely recreate yourself, for nothing is permanent. And I just really want to harp on that and give you a reminder that you're not stuck, and you have options and you have choices, and you have the ability to change yourself. You have the ability to change your situation. If you're not happy, it is hard sometimes to come out of things because we're so used to certain routines and certain lifestyles. But really ask yourself, are you happy in that? Is this what you want to do? Is this how you want to wake up? Are you just content? Or are you just, living your life? And coming out of 2020, I feel like we shouldn't just be content with life. Like, there's so much more to it, and there's so much more joy that we have to have in our life to just be love and be light and be happy and be positive. And I'm not saying that has to be you all the time, because we do have our good and our bad days, but I want to spend majority of my time just being light, being joyful, and smiling to myself because I am genuinely happy with what I built for me. And so I want you guys to all feel that same way, and just repeat to yourself, I can completely recreate my life, for nothing is permanent. I can completely recreate my life, for nothing is permanent. So that is it. I hope you guys are able to get a little bit out of that episode, or out of this episode. I appreciate you guys once again. This is episode 11. This is being recorded with lots of love and energy and just feeling really good. And so I hope you guys can feel that through your headphones, through your cars, wherever you listen to this podcast, through your walks. So I thank you guys and I love you guys so much. I hope that you were able to reassess your life, visualize your life, and then afterwards do the work so that you get there. We are all deserving of a great space to be in. We're all deserving of love. And life can be beautiful, and life should be easy, and it should never be hard. We have the ability to recreate that if we're not in a space that we want to be in. It can take some time, but you must do the work. You have to be intentional with how you move and where you want to go, and things are going to turn up for you, whatever it is that you're going through. So say it again. I can completely recreate my life, for nothing is permanent. So I love you guys. I love you. I love you. I love you. I can never say it enough. Follow me on my personal Instagram at Desi T, or at Odessey Studios. You can follow and listen and all of that. And like I said, some of the episodes are going to start trickling into YouTube. So I'll continue to post that up. But thank you guys for being here, being the light and sending the love. Thank you for listening to Odessey, the podcast.